Hi everyone, please take out your interactive notebook page that has the cookies on it. Today's lesson is about adding simple sentences together to create compound sentences. So I'd like you to take a moment to cut out all the parts. You should have a title, 4 sandwich cookies, a jar of icing, and then this big cookie here. Once you've had them all cut out, please come on back to the video. All right, you want to add this page to the page after the pencils, which is after the mood and tone chart. This might be a little challenging for some of you, but I want you to recognize that this particular exercise goes across 2 pages. Please put your title up here and then glue your 4 sandwiches on the right-hand page. And on the left-hand page, put the giant sandwich, that's an example, and your can of icing. What we're talking about today is simple sentences. Simple sentences have a subject that's doing something. For example, the dog ate food. What did the dog do? It ate food. The dog is your subject. Well, what you can do is combine two simple sentences like that into one compound sentence. But you need some kind of glue or cream in the middle to make it stick together. And so that cream is actually a conjunction. Conjunctions should be fairly familiar to you, especially words such as and or. You use those all the time. But in this particular one, in your icing jar, I want you to write the word conjunctions at the top and then write but, for, nor, so, yet, and or, all in this little jar. You're going to be using those in your writing today. So as this example shows you, you have a simple sentence 2, simple sentence 1, and in the middle you have a comma plus the conjunction. A lot of people forget to add that comma. You need that punctuation there. Or you can actually just use a semicolon, which I know isn't something we've really had a chance to talk about, but I'm just going to review it with you now. So I want you to look at these 4 cookie sandwiches and figure out what would be the best way to combine the simple sentences. Now, I will tell you that when I did this myself, I felt that the word but could fit for all of them, but instead, put in the answers that I have here. My first one is a spacesuit costs about $11 million, comma, but over half of the cost is for the backpack. The moon is drifting away from the Earth, semicolon. It only drifts about 4 centimeters per year. The only time that you can use a semicolon is when you're combining 2 complete sentences. If these were just partial sentences or fragments, you wouldn't be able to use that semicolon. Down here I have Amy read a book about outer space, comma, but it wasn't very interesting. And finally, Mars has 2 moons, comma, yet Saturn has over 60 moons. I feel like I'd almost want to put the word however there, but let's just stick to the conjunctions that are in the icing. What I would like you to do now is you're going to be going into your own story, and I'd like you to find an area, you may have done this already, but if you haven't, you're going to combine 2 simple sentences into a compound sentence using a conjunction. I know this is really, really specific, but we actually have a standard that we need to work towards regarding these combining sentences to a larger one. Notice that with these examples, you didn't take any words out, you actually added a word in between them, and that's why the idea is to think of it as a sandwich. A cookie on the top, a cookie on the bottom, and then a cream filling in the middle. So I'm just reading this off my website, but just as a review of what I'm asking you to do in your own writing. Find 3 sentences in your story where you use conjunctions to connect simple sentences. Each sentence needs to use a different conjunction from this list, but, for, nor, or, so, yet. And is also a conjunction, but remember, I think that you use that one frequently enough that we don't need to practice it. Be sure that if you use the word for, F-O-R, as a conjunction that you're using it correctly. If you had a sentence like Julia, that'd be me, Julia used the fork for spaghetti. The word for isn't combining 2 simple sentences there. It's just combining an idea and it's telling you what did she use that fork for. So if you use for, make sure that you're using it with 2 simple sentences. If you don't have 3 examples, you need to add them. Remember, this is an exercise in you showing me that you know how to use these conjunctions correctly. Once you've done that, please highlight these 3 different combined sentences with light blue. That way, when you submit your essay, eventually in a couple of days, I will be able to look at your light blue highlighted portion and see what you know about creating compound sentences.